What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Tuesday night, so it means it's Fignight at the Tavern, and what a special episode we have for you. It's me, the OG Fig Kid, Thomas Montalto, and joining me as usual, the hottest hot tag partner in the business.
It's me. It's good old Mike B. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another awesome edition of Fignight right here at the Tavern. And it's just for Sam over in the chat. Happy Handsome Tuesday, everybody out there. How's it going? Tom, how you doing, man?
I am well. I
love
am
it.
excited.
Did you get the memo?
What memo?
We have the specialist of special guests hopping on with us today. We got the one, the only, the man with the plan, Kyle Peterson. Ooh, yeah, brother.
I got something for you this time. I got a guy I want to talk to.
Woo!
Here he is, the author of the brand new Jakks Classic Superstars book, Kyle Peterson. Thank you for joining us. And this thing is more like an encyclopedia than a book, but we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. Kyle, how you doing today, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. It's too long. We should have had you on before. I don't know what we were waiting for. Perfect opportunity with this brand new book coming out. So we're gonna get to that. People, look, we got Nicole in the chat. We got Sam. We got Don the Bomb Smith. Tyson's here, and look, it's Mo the Fig God who was making us graphics all day long.
I love it.
Thank you, Mo. Welcome to the show. Man, I'm so excited. Why don't we just jump right into the news, Mike? We could do the news with Kyle, and then we'll start talking about the book. What do you say, Mike?
It's Tuesday. You know, it's my favorite.
And now to figure news.
I can't believe I got to tell you, you keep cutting me off in the middle of my sentences. I always miss out. It's all good. We got a lot
We'll
to
get
go
it
over.
sooner or later. We'll get it.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, let's get right into it. Right, we were just talking about it a little bit off before we hopped on the air here, but the WrestleCon exclusive coming from Zombie Sailor. We got Slick, baby. Oh my God, I'm so excited for this limited run. Rocking that awesome suit, man. Comes with the hat.
Great suit. This is how I think of Slick when I think of Slick.
Ooh, it's a beautiful, man. I do like the baby, the blues a little bit better, but I mean this is Slick for Slick, baby.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have this. So this will be a variant Chase edition, I guess exclusive edition here, but they'll have the other suit colors eventually.
Yeah, I believe there's going to be 3 different Slicks too, from what I understand. So,
well, I guess he hasn't had a figure forever. They're gonna go all in.
Yeah.
Was his last figure the LJN, or you would know? Did he have a Jakks Classic Superstars?
Nope, LJN was it.
Wow,
man.
Yeah, seems
wow,
wild.
that's huge.
Not many things you could say that the Classic Superstars line dropped the ball on, but Slick.
There's a few. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
Are you collecting heels and faces, Kyle?
Oh yeah, I'm all in. Got every single one so far.
What a line too. They're such great figures. I love them all.
Yep.
Quality.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah, absolutely. But limited to 1,250 pieces. You guys pick them up. WrestleCon, man. One and only chance. Hopefully we'll sell them out and get more, because that's what we like to do. What do we got next? Here on the list, we got Remco Powertown All-Star Wrestlers are up for pre-order right now. Head on over to powertownwrestling.com to pre-order. UK and European buyers, head on over to Rock and Roll Collectibles to get your orders in. These look fantastic, man.
Yeah, no conspiracies here yet, at least, I don't think. Somebody dropped the Jesse Ventura, but the only thing I don't like about this, it doesn't say like when they're shipping. It's, hey, we paid our money, but when are we going to get them? So that scares me a little bit, but hopefully it's 2024, I hope.
Yeah.
But these look amazing.
Also, they don't list how long the pre-orders for, which is good and bad. I want to order them, but I just spent a ton of money the last week buying a ton of other figures. So luckily, I think they'll be up there for a while. But like, you know what figure most excites me here is the missing link. Like,
it's cool.
I don't have a missing link figure. I've been watching wrestling for 40 years. Loved the missing link as a kid. I finally get a figure of his.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really solid lineup. You know, and I thought they did something really smart is they plugged every single Friday. They showed a different figure for, X amount of weeks. Then they started over again and said, okay, hey, this guy's coming with a jacket. This guy's coming with whatever. Then they did it again with belts, really keeping it top of mind, really, giving you a little bit more. And bam, now they're on sale. Yeah. So it was a good job.
That Rock and Roll Express is tops. I love it. It fits the style.
Just wants to know, and I don't think we know the exact answer to this. Are they in scale with the WWE Superstars? I'm imagining they got to be really close.
Yeah, supposedly they will be. I talked with them at PowerCon last year. We squashed the beef between me and PowerCon. No conspiracy, or me and PowerTown. So,
yeah, I can't.
But yeah, they should. They should work in.
They look
I agree
great.
with Sam. I do need an elite missing link for sure.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
Can't
wait to see how they come out.
I'm with look at this. Nick Bonquickle and Hogan.
There you go.
Bonquickle, I met him way back in the day, and I regret not getting a picture. One of the nicest guys I've ever met, not just in wrestling. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Love
awesome. Well, guys, head on over to PowerTownWrestling.com. Get those pre-orders in, man. Hopefully they will be in our hands sooner than later.
Yes.
Right? That's the good thing. Speaking of crazy collectibles, we got Fanatics over here. They will be releasing some new Funkos on 315 and 322. Mystery Funkos. I like it.
Mystery Funkos. There you go. This Hall of Fame line seems to be doing well. The Undertaker sold out really fast last week. I got out of the Funko game a few months ago, and I'm glad I did, because if I would have missed that Taker, it would have drove me crazy.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Tom, I know you got out of the Funko game. How does it feel to see these mystery pre-orders up? Like, do you get the itch again?
No, not at all.
I
never liked Funkos before I started collecting them, so I don't know why I did.
That's good. Stay on that boat.
Yeah, I'm not a Funko guy either. The Ultimate Warrior ones I'll buy, and that's it. I don't get anything else.
The only one I have,
think I got Piper.
I kept Piper, and I kept the Flair that came with the game in the suit, because that's such a great one.
That's a good one.
I couldn't give that.
Yeah. No, I got Piper and I got Pantera. So like very, very wide mix right there.
I also have the ET stuff. Ones. They do have the ET Funko.
There you go.
Well, I got all the Lemmy Motorhead ones too.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Right,
good stuff though. But yeah, Fanatics, man. Funkos 315, 322. Keep your eyes out if you guys are Funko people. Next up on the list, we got Ultimate Edition Monday Night Wars series. Oh my God, it's a good day for mankind because we got to see that beautiful, beautiful Mick Foley. This is awesome. So excited for this, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I do think we'll eventually see all three faces of Foley as Ultimates, I think, eventually. But I like that they went soft goods with this. I mean, the verdict's still out if it works. I mean, you can kind of see it's a little baggy, but he did kind of wear it baggy, so it seems to work. We'll see what happens when we get it in hand. But yeah. I like the idea that they tried something different because we've had this figure so many times in the Elite line without soft goods. I think it was a good idea to do soft goods with this one.
Absolutely, man. I do think it was a nice touch to put the soft goods tie in too.
Yeah.
You know, they could easily just put a little molded piece of plastic over the top of it. It came out great. It looks awesome. Can't wait to get it in the collection. But Mankind's not coming by himself, man.
No.
On top of it, he's coming with we got Eddie Guerrero, man. It's gonna be so awesome. I'm so excited for these Monday Night Wars.
Huge improvement over the last one for sure.
Yes,
dude, this Eddie Guerrero figure looks like it might be the best Eddie Guerrero figure ever. This looks amazing.
Yeah. Love the T-shirt.
Really good look.
Love the gear. Good choice. It's awesome, Eddie, man.
Really, really is. I can't wait to get these two. And the Mick Foley, the Mankind one, is from the night he won the title on Monday Night War.
We did it, Adrian. We did it, baby.
So, we need a WCW announcer to announce that he won the title. Just stay over on Monday Night Nitro.
Yeah, that'll put butts in seats. But awesome, man. The two stellar Monday Night War picks, I think, man. Really great addition to the line. Happy to have them. Pumped for it. Speaking of Monday Night Wars, we got Monday Night Wars Series 3 revealed as part of Walmart CollectorCon. These are not available for pre-order yet, but they are awesome, man. We got Harlem Heat, we got The Rock, and we got Rob Van Dam, man. I'm pumped for these. These look good. Love the black attire on Harlem Heat.
Yeah. Many people are excited to be getting finally a second Harlem Heat after that first set so long ago.
Yep, and I could see this getting repainted and re-released multiple times. Put them in the blue, put them in all the different colors under the sun.
Sign me up, man. I'm here for it. I need more Harlem Heat in my life.
Yeah, this Friday is going to be an expensive day at Walmart. I mean, obviously the wrestling figures going up, but also other lines. If for those that collect other lines, it's going to be. I looked at my card. I think I'm at $600. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow. So
God bless you, man.
I mean, can you put this stuff in the cart already?
You can add it to your wish list or whatever. So then you have them all on your wish list. And then when they go live, you can just go in there and check out from your wish list. So
that'll make
you
it
guys go. Nice tip from the
pro tip,
Kyle Peterson himself.
Pro tip.
You guys, have you seen the Rock with the rolled eyes head? That looks really cool.
Yeah, that's a must-have display with that. That gives it a little bit of difference. Obviously, the shirt's different too, but make them as different as possible when you're doing these re-releases. So I like what they did here as well.
Yeah. Take the Team Rocket Rock and put them. Give them that, man, because it makes it stand out so much better. And this is crazy good. Super excited for baby RVD, man.
RVD
I love it.
ECW.
I love this. It's not as most. It's like an ugly singlet, but it's iconic because it's so ugly. It's weird how that works. But the head sculpt looks a little suspect on this one. We'll have to see how it looks in hand. But
I think I could see them doing, one of those things where it's got the hard on the pictures, but easier on the eyes once you get it in the hands. And I hope so too, because it's an RVD figure. But this is great, man. I love it.
We also
nice little trickle of ECW into the Monday Night Wars line, which makes me so excited.
Perhaps it comes with an extra head too. We don't even know what the accessories are, right? So always get
have a better one.
Synastics is the tire removable from the Mick Foley from the Mankind? I would assume it is if it's soft goods. You could just slide it on and off. So extra heads, it'll be easy to get off, I would imagine.
Ooh, I'm excited, man.
Big Freak is asking what we think about their ringside exclusive re-releases. Go ahead, Kyle. What do you think? You're shaking.
I got a lot. I mean, I see both sides of the debate on that one, and I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not, it doesn't ruin my day. It doesn't make my day. I'm just, hey, all right, new figures. I do wish, first off, they would have updated like the Triple H Shawn Michaels head. I wish there would have been a little bit more love in those a little bit. It's new packaging, so that's fine. But I can see old school collectors saying, oh my gosh, I paid up for all these. I did all this, and now it's just re-releasing it. On my YouTube channel, I say it all the time that Mattel, NECA, whatever company you want to list out, if there's money to be made, they're a business at the end of the day. They're going to re-release things.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's what people don't seem to get. They're a business, and if they know there's a market, why wouldn't they re-release it? Now, they want
every dollar out of your wallet. That's the way it is. They're a business. It's not a nonprofit.
Exactly. Like I love that at least they're going to be updated with the paint apps and they're going to look a little different. Like I want the Dudleys. There's so many of those I want. I at first I didn't care about it. Then it kind of bothered me. But now listen, I'm getting to filling stuff into my collection that I didn't have by this. Yeah. So I mean, as long as you upgrade it a little bit and it's not a straight re-release, I'm okay. Give me a reason to want to buy it.
And we got to think too, you got to put that business hat on again with things like this, and the greatest hits line that's going to continue on is Mattel's been well over 10 years. We're at 14 years of Mattel right now. So, Hasbro was 4 or 5 years. LJN was 4 or 5 years. You take all that kind of stuff going on. Well, usually there's a reset. Jakks loses his license. Mattel starts over, puts the figures that Jakks made into Mattel. Well, now Mattel's seen a whole generation pass on. They got to re-release all that stuff and put it out because they know those iconic outfits and looks sell, and they just can't not make those again. So everything's fair game.
And listen, good choice of figures, I think. I know that Cena was the defining moment. Cena's super hard to find back in the day. So, I mean, it's good to get those out to the people that missed out originally on them. Am I all for re-releasing? Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care.
It is strange. It is strange, some of the packaging. I mean, I love the throwback packaging design, but some of the figures that, like that Ultimate Warrior, it was never even in that kind of packaging design. So it feels kind of strange in the package, but it works. It's all right.
Yeah. No, same thing with the Cena, too. It was a weird choice for the packaging.
My biggest concern is let's re-release some CM Punks for me that I wasn't collecting when he was around for the first patch.
You got to think that stuff's coming. I think you'll see CM Punk just like Cody Rhodes. I think it'll, for sure, you'll see CM Punk in the basics line really quick. They'll just redo one of those old ones, and it'll be out ASAP. I wouldn't be shocked to see one at Mania. It definitely will see renders, but we could even see like a basic kind of ready to go in the next couple of months.
I'm also hoping we see like a Ultimate Edition pre-order set up or announced at Mania, which might happen. Who knows?
It's easily doable, I believe. I'm
we
here
got
for it,
next,
though.
Mike?
Oh, here we go. I was too involved in the conversation. I put my notes down. I was having a good time there. Ooh, it's not a Fignight with a little bit of Foco news, man. We got some Foco limited edition WWE WrestleMania Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. This is a cool little
I thought it was
here.
the Rockabye Baby edition.
Yeah, it looks like Undertaker's carrying. They just got married. And he's carrying Shawn over the threshold or something like that.
Struggling a little bit, right? Like,
yeah,
Shawn.
Shawn.
You had to have that extra piece of cake, damn it.
Yeah,
But,
all
hey,
you Foco collectors.
we all love the Foco game. They put a lot of effort into these. Limited to 224 pieces. Super cool looking set. I love the ring. The bases are the most impressive thing out of these for me. And yeah, I'm not a bobblehead guy, but hey, it's up there. It's cool. We're celebrating WrestleMania season right around the corner. Awesome piece to get for you guys. Well, speaking of the Vault, we were talking about it a little bit, but ringside exclusive WWE From the Vault Series 1 pre-order available now at Ringside Collectibles. Boom, you're looking at them, all of them in their glory. Drop that Tavern code. You save yourself 10%, guys. It'll do you justice. The Kane. The Kane's another one, a great Kane figure. Happy to see it back out in the hands for the collectors, man.
Yeah. There's some fire figures in there for sure. There's no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you guys go pre-order them now if you are missing out. I'm a big fan. I think they picked out some good magic here. They should sell. We should see more. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. I like it. I'm here for it. In the beginning, I was kind of hesitant. Now I'm filling in holes in my collection. I don't collect for the money. I always say I wish everything was just easy to find because I want what I want. I don't want to have to hunt it down. So I'm here for it. It.
You get those damn Dudleys one more time. I'm here for it, man. Speaking of Ringside Collectibles, we also have new in stock the Blood and Guts Darby Allin and Brody King from our good friends over at AEW by Jazwares. This is awesome, man. I can't wait to get this in the house. Ooh, Kyle Peterson's got him in the house.
I just unboxed them right before we went on the channel here.
Nice, man. Super nice. How's the skateboard?
It's interesting. You get the tacks in it and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. I'm all about unique accessories. Yeah.
I love the Blood and Guts stuff.
One of my favorite lines out there right now.
100%. It's so much fun. Thank you to Ringside for doing this, for sending this figure. It's amazing. It's truly a great set. If you're Blood and Guts, if you're AEW, you can't miss these. You just can't miss them.
Brody's awesome looking, too. Screams heavy metal all the way. I love it. And one more time, last but not least, WrestleMania sale is going on over at ringsidecollectibles.com. So make sure you guys go over there, pick up all your leftover figures that you're missing out on, that you need, and don't be afraid to use code Tavern and save yourself that 10% at checkout, man. Good stuff. I love pay-per-view sales at Ringside. It's like my favorite time to get just browsing and like add up a card of like $200 and be like, oh, here we go. We're good.
I love the holiday sales. Like you just start filling in what you didn't get throughout the year.
It's the best, absolute best stuff in the world.
I mean, I'm not even going to do a weekly haul this week because I've just picked up way too much stuff. I want to dive into everything with Kyle. Before we do, guys, head on over to theturnbuckletavern.com. If you have yet to do so yet, go check out our Patreon. It's only $2.99 a month. We've got exclusive videos. You can interact with us in our private Facebook group, theturnbuckletavern.com. Only 12 quarters a month. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, it's cheaper than laundry. Or at least if you did laundry. People still use laundromats, right? Yeah.
Not since I bought my house 10 years ago.
It's good stuff, though. But hey, Kyle, you're our special guest here. We got lots to talk about with you. We are super excited. We know the book. We're going to go over the book. But I have to talk about just what brought you into collecting not only wrestling, but figures in general. Obviously, we did it when we were kids, but growing through it throughout the years. Give us a little bit of your story, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a kid of the 80s. Like a lot of kids of the 80s, action figures were a way of life for pretty much every kid in the 80s. Everybody had, maybe you were a He-Man kid, a wrestling kid, G.I. Joe. I mean, Transformers, whatever it may be. And I was a little bit of everything, really, at the end of the day. G.I. Joe and wrestling were the two that really stood out for me as a kid, and He-Man right up there. And that's where I kind of remember I was probably like 3 years old getting He-Man figures, and I was all in on He-Man pretty much till about a couple years of He-Man exclusive. Then I worked my way into G.I. Joe and then wrestling and stayed with everything. And yeah, I just collected pretty much my whole life, all the way, my whole life. I took a little bit of a dip around when I went to college, just because I had no money and you couldn't really collect anything. But I still kept a close eye, every weekend when I'd go grocery shopping, I'd check out the toy aisles and I'd pick up a thing every once in a while, like a Warrior or whatever that caught my eye, So, but after, of course, I got out of college, it just kind of, snowballed into the madness it is right now, I guess. And really, the Classic Superstars, I mean, it's a good segue, but that's what really got me into collecting like I am now. It really started there, and then the G.I. Joe 25th anniversary line came out, and I jumped into that, and then really just extended from there and went totally crazy, really, at this point.
I was much like you, Kyle. Don the Bomb was saying that we're in between LJN and Hasbro. No, I was LJN. I tapped out when the Hasbros came out because I was 9 years old when LJNs came out. And all of a sudden, they released these little short figures that were so unplayable to a kid who was used to playing something that was this big. It's like,
yeah.
So I'm like, what are these terrible figures? I hated the Hasbros as a kid. And what got me back into collecting was the Jakks Classic Superstars. I'd be in Toys R Us or Walmart, and I just would always look down the aisles, didn't buy things. And then I started seeing, I'm like, wow, these are really cool. These are guys that I watched as a kid. And it's like, that's what suckered me back in. So, I mean, without the Jakks Classic Superstars line, I don't know if I ever start collecting again. What was the first wrestling line you collected? Were you LJN?
For me, I was LJN, but I did walk that LJN Hasbro line. I was right in between, and I enjoyed both of them, and I played with them both at the same time. So I wasn't there at the beginning of LJN. I was there towards the end, and then I was there for the beginning of Hasbro, but I was in both of them. My first ever action figure, I used to get a new figure every Friday. If I was good, made my bed, was good at school and all that, and I got something, and I said, this week I'm getting a wrestling figure. Well, I remember distinctly going to Toys R Us, and I ended up getting Outback Jack was my first ever wrestling figure, which is about as deep a cut as ever. But then, you can't really play wrestling with just one figure. I remember they had just a peg full of Outback Jacks. That was all they had. No other wrestlers, nothing else. So I took home one Outback Jack. And until the next Friday, I finally got another wrestling figure. I don't remember which one that was, but it was a long week with me and just Outback Jack.
A lot of hand wrestling.
It's not right here. I hated the Hasbros as well. I was all about the LJNs. Hasbros came out when I was 13. Jakks Classic Superstars brought me back to the exact same story. We must be the same age. I just turned 49 on Friday, so it's funny. I got LJNs the day they came out. We had a little local store where I lived on Staten Island that was just like Ringside. They got everything in sooner than Toys R Us, but you paid a little more. I got to know the owner. He used to hold everything for me. He would call me up and say, hey, we got the new LJNs in today. And my mom would drive me down there. So I love the LJNs. And that's like disappointment. Now I respect the Hasbros. Like now it's like, okay, they're fun to collect. I have a bunch of them. I have the Piper Mint on card. I have Demolition. So I want to fill in more of my Hasbro collection and more. Like there's so many things I want to fill in. Are you complete? Tell us what set you have complete, because I know it's a crazy monster list.
Oh boy! I mean, for wrestling, I guess LJN. Then you go into Hasbro, Jakks Ruthless Aggression with Ring Rage, everything, all that kind of stuff. Then I got classics. I got double up set of classics. I don't count the Ric Flair like 1 of 20, the 1 of 100s, but the normal sets. Right. I got double up on both those, loose and mint. I mean, the Mattel retros, Zombie Sailor, all the new retro companies, the Chellas, all that kind of stuff. Mattel Elites. I have every single Mattel Elite ever made. I got every single Ultimate. Yeah, it's for sure. But yeah, I'm complete on everything. No basics. I'm not complete on basics.
No, I'm with the Ultimates, and I do have all the LJNs, but Elites, I had to it gets crazy. Especially, I had this addictive issue of buying 2 of everything. Yeah, it's like, that just makes it more expensive. Like, what are you doing, Tom? I've tapped out on buying 2 of everything. That's like I'm just
cut out. I just cut out my double up ultimate set. I was going to be double up, and then I've said it on my channel. I just feel ultimates aren't as special as they once were. I mean, when there was like 9 or 10 maybe a year, it felt really special. But now I think the Bobby Lashley set really put me over my tipping point. And I love Bobby Lashley. He's one of my favorite current performers, but it just didn't feel like an ultimate Bobby Lashley. It felt just like regular Bobby Lashley in an ultimate. So it didn't feel. And I said, you know what? There's too many to keep up with this. So I'm just going to go loose from here on out.
Yeah, that's a hard decision to make.
Even the accessories in the Ultimate Edition don't feel like they did in the very beginning. Like, they're lacking just a little bit. And I don't know. Everything has gone up in cost. So is it just to keep the price point the way it is? If it is, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's only so much budget, obviously, for figures. I'm like, I could save, $100 basically a set. Now there's 3, so put that towards something else.
Do you have any rules for your collecting?
Oh yeah, I got rules. I mean, a lot of people think I collect kind of everything, and I collect probably more than the average Joe. But if I can't display it, it shouldn't be in my collection. So that's kind of my rule. I'm not going to have a storage unit. I'm not going to have tubs or totes full of stuff, because to me, if I can't see it, do I really have it? I mean, obviously it's probably in that tote, but it could be just an empty tote. You don't know. So that's my rule. If, you run out of space or whatever, something's got to go to come back in really at that point. So that's kind of my collecting rule. If I can't display it, I don't need it in my collection.
That's actually a really good rule.
Yeah.
No, very, very good.
For me to be on display, I don't need it.
Yeah. I like the rule.
No, it's good. Absolutely. It beats having totes in your basement like I do.
And I've seen his basement.
Yeah. So what's the rarest piece in your collection?
Or
your favorite?
It's probably
we can go either or.
Probably. I mean, both He-Man, Masters Universe Classics. I got the Spirit of King Grayskull. There's only like 31 in the world, and they were only for senior leaders at Mattel. So I got that one. I almost kind of don't even like have it in my house. I feel like I'm going to look at it wrong and it'll break or something. I mean, it's almost like a priceless piece that never comes up for sale or anything. So that's definitely probably the most rare, I think. My favorite, though, all time, I mean, it was such a game changer as a kid when I got it out of the back of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It was the black card LJN Ultimate Warrior. I mean, that just sums up like my childhood right there. That was such a bit. People, maybe they can understand, but at the time, I mean, you guys might understand this, that like there was no Ultimate Warrior figure, and he was so hot, and I was such a little warrior. I still am a warrior. So to be able to get your first ever Ultimate Warrior action figure, like, you know how that went. Your fig fed that night just exploded. I mean, I didn't leave my room for a week. I just played with warrior matches, just running him through the whole roster and everything. I mean, it was just such a big deal for me. And still, I mean, that's my one grail piece too, is one day I'll get a mint on card version of that. I have a minty loose one, but would love a mint on card one in my collection.
That's awesome, man.
So where did you get it when you were a kid? Did you order it out of the magazine?
Yep. And I didn't know anything about it being like Canadian exclusive. I mean, you didn't know that kind of stuff when you were a kid. I just, every week, I go to the grocery store with my parents, and I'd usually pick up either like a Beckett trading card price guide or a wrestling magazine. And, you'd see them in the back cover and stuff. And that's where I ordered a lot of LJNs from.
Yeah, cool. I remember that very vividly. Let's talk about the book. How did this whole book come about?
It's kind of a long story, I guess. I've been doing classic superstar videos on my channel for it'll be, by the time things are all said and done, 5 years almost to the nose of every Tuesday a video. So every Tuesday there's a new classic superstars video. And I've always said, I love these. I went through them all. And I said, it'd be cool to have a loose set. I love this line so much, I want a loose collection. Well, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a set loose. And you guys know how it is. You go to eBay. How can I do this but to save as much money as I possibly can? Well, the problem was you buy, you got to buy multiples in big lots to save on shipping, because if you buy each one, I mean, the shipping just kills you. So strangely enough, about 2 weeks after my search began, a guy in Chicago was actually selling a complete collection, and I drove out to Chicago, rented a van with good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson, and we went out there and loaded it up, and there it went. So then I had 2 sets. And after the 2 sets, I basically started opening them. I said, you know what? I could easily do a book out of this. And I love good guidebooks and things like that. And I thought to myself, who else will do this? Will anybody ever do this? Could anybody else ever do this? And I said, you know what? I'm going to knock it out. I'm going to do it. So I kind of had the idea, and San Diego Comic-Con was coming up last year, and I said, okay, I'm going to start, get my template, my outline, all this together. I know Jeremy Padawer is going to be there, and I'm going to find a way to meet Jeremy Padawer. And I did do that, and the rest is kind of history. And it took me about a year to put together.
Wow.
And he wrote the forward of the book, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
I said, Jeremy, I want you involved. And, I never met Jeremy in my life, but I followed him forever, and I've always loved what he does. And I knew that he would be interested in this. I think he's a guy that loves collecting, but he also, like most people, their legacy is important to them. And that's why I wanted to make sure, he had that. So we talked and, had a good half-hour conversation with him, and he was all in from the get-go. He wrote the foreword. He sent me some pictures of some things. I did an interview in the book. There's a lot of touches of Jeremy in there. So I was really very appreciative of him.
Yeah, such a good dude. We love Jeremy here. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think the three of us would be standing here, sitting here talking about it, because it's Classic Superstars was so important, I think, as a collector for wrestling toys. It was really holds that place of, rather I got back into it from it, or this is what really, really sold me on collecting for forever, because it's the best, man.
It is. I'm excited. Is there any chance the book will be coming out on a digital version for the Kindle, or?
Yeah, down the line. The worst thing about a book like this is it's different than like a normal novel is, you can do that Kindle. It's not a big deal. But this one, it takes one person to just screenshot every page and send it out to everybody. And it's not like I'm making a fortune on this book or anything, but I'm not opposed to it. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe a little bonus edition or something like that. I got no problems doing that eventually. But I figured for start, it's such a special book, and it's, it's like a textbook. It's like an encyclopedia. It's just, there's something about physical media and just like having something like this, in your hand, I guess, at least in my opinion.
How long did it take you from start to finish to put that mammoth book together?
Yeah, it was a lot of late nights. I talk about it on my channel a lot. I work a 60-hour-a-week job, executive for a company, a major company out there. So I'm very busy with that. And then my YouTube stuff, obviously, I pump out 4 videos every single day. And I film, the lion's share of everything on the weekend. So then during the week, I edit some videos, but then I spent, a couple hours every single night, when everybody else is sleeping, hustling and doing this and working on this and penning it and doing all that kind of stuff. Always hustle. I always say there's always time. If you want to do something bad enough, you can always find time to do it.
100%, man. Good mentality to have going into anything.
Yep.
I love the layouts of the book. I love how each page goes over that wrestler. Very, very, very different from any other kind of guide out there for toys. Basically, it's very clean, very well put together. I appreciate the attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, man. What's your, say you're right before the Classic Superstars line's coming out, right? And did you have a dip in pro wrestling figures? We were doing those R3 techs. You're just getting into that ruthless aggression, getting out of that ruthless aggression era.
Yeah, Titantrons and R3 were the death of me. I still can't stand those figures. And that's where I said, okay, I'm giving up the fight. I'm done with those two. I know some people like them, and I get it. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. But they weren't for me at all. And, I still paid attention, still looked at them, but I said, I don't have money to buy them, and they just don't capture my imagination. The last one before Classics was Bone Crunchers. Probably it was the last thing that I was real interested in. So
it's crazy.
Here's the other thing, the most amazing thing, the book is full color, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. So all the pictures, all the images, you're getting a full color. Like that's a value for the price of this book. It really, really is.
It is an expensive book. I've heard that from people, and I get it. It's like $68 on Amazon for the soft cover, and it's $135 for the hardcover edition at Barnes & Noble. It's expensive, and I get it. And people wanted a hardcover and said, hey, I don't care what it costs. Just get a hardcover out there. So I did. And Barnes & Noble's the only place you could do the hardcover because it's too big for Amazon to do. And, I learned a lot about making books. There's different ways to go. It's a whole discussion in itself. You can get a publisher. You can do it yourself. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. Either way, there's really not a lot of money in it. That's why if you do something like this, it's got to be a passion project. It's got to be something you really love. And at the end of the day, for me, it was really about saying, hey, I've done Classic Superstars videos for over 5 years on my channel. I love the line. It made me the collector I am today. It was truly a labor of love. And it's just cool that I think when all things are said and done, when people think of the Classic Superstars line, my name will somewhere be in there, either from my years of videos, the books, whatever it may be. It's just cool to be somewhat connected to the line that I love so much. So that was the big thing for me. And then it's a legacy. I guess at the end of the day, I get hit by a bus tomorrow. It's like, oh, remember that Kyle Peterson guy? He wrote that book.
That's so cool. Looking at the details here, like I love each accessory picturized. I love the front and backs of the packaging. You know, it's for somebody that wasn't around or collecting at the time. It really helps you, especially if you're buying secondary market stuff, loose. You know how that goes. Sometimes you buy something on eBay, you're missing a beer can from this Stone Cold or something, you know? So it's good to have every little piece of it documented, you know?
It's a great book. I mean, this is a must-have if somebody's trying to track down a loose set of this, for sure. I mean, you can see every single accessory and everything that's in with every single figure. So it's definitely a must-have if you're in that book. And yeah, it's expensive, but boy, it can save you a lot of money in buying mistakes if you're buying wrong accessories and stuff like that, for sure.
So
absolutely.
You have every figure in the book, obviously, right? Is there a picture of every figure and every accessory?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all there. Everything.
That's
front and backs of the packages and everything.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That's exciting. I can't wait to get this book. I was hoping.
The cool thing is too, it's my personal collection, which is pretty cool as well. So, I mean, there's a couple of pictures in here. Jeremy helped me with a couple, like the 1 of 3 Warrior. Obviously, I don't have that, but he helped me with that. You know, the Mr. America pictures in the book that he has, and a couple other ones there.
Yeah.
So.
No, and stuff you wouldn't be able to do without a little help, right? So it's good to have that help. It's cool. Oh, that's awesome.
There's group shots of each set and things like that in there too.
Man,
making me wish I still had new ones coming out. Why we still have these great Mattel ones? Jakks Classic Superstars. They were, like I said, they got me loving figures and collecting again. So,
and it was such a special time. And I don't know if you guys are aware, it's the 20-year anniversary of Classic Superstars this year. So it's a good time for this to come out to tie into that. Yeah. But, you know, and Jeremy talks about it in the book, and I asked some questions about it. And there's some things that we've never known, finally found out about the Classic Superstars line in the book as well, in the interview with Jeremy. But, you know, he had a special gig with the WWE at the time, because he could sign people outside of contracted talent to be a part of the line, which would never happen in this day and age. So that's why we got the Abdullah the Butchers. That's why we got Bret Hart and Ultimate Warrior in the line. And, you know, and there's a couple of the ones that got away, the Ricky Steamboats, the Von Erichs, the Macho Man are the big ones a lot of people talk about, and they just weren't allowed to be in there. I mean, you know, it's kind of like what Mattel deals with this day. Hey, Jakks would have loved to make them. It's just like Mattel. They would love to put out an Ultimate Demolition tomorrow. They just got to do what they're told.
Man.
Yeah. Really crazy. Cool. Mr. Synastic is saying, I got the book day one. It's great. The only bad thing is it makes me want to buy more of the figures. Just looking at the pictures from here, it's making me want to buy more of the figures. So.
The nice thing is you got the book, you can kind of pretend, because like there's G.I. Joe books like this, and I would love to go back and get all my 80s G.I. Joes, but it's just not financially possible. So I get the book, you know, a couple volumes of books, and I get that itch, I read the book.
It's a good thing to do, man.
Some could actually say Jeremy is responsible for like WWE signing guys to Legends deals. Like it was kind of his brainchild by coming up with this stuff.
Yeah, we talk about that in the interview as well in the book about all that. I mean, there's a lot, and you know, and you guys have heard it as well, and a lot of people probably watching this. That's so Jakks, you know, that take on things. And I say, guess what? 20 years from now, there's gonna be people saying, "Oh, that's so Mattel." People say it right now. They say it about Bret Hart's face scans right now. You know, it's like everybody, and people forget. People look at a lot of Jakks things with 2024 eyes, and you can't do that. I mean, you go back, Tom, you know, you saw that first Classic Superstars. You're like, oh my gosh, we've never seen anything like this before. It was a true game changer. And people think, oh, it doesn't have all the articulation. Well, that wasn't a thing anywhere back then. So that's one thing you always got to remember back.
It's just like thing. When Mattel came out, and I think you said this, Mike, you're like, why aren't my guys the same size? Because some were a little taller and some were...
No, I might remember when I first got the Big Show. It was Big Show and, you know, Rey Mysterio. And I was like, wow, this is so crazy. And then I was, you know, Jakks Rey Mysterio, Jakks Big Show. And I was like, wow, this is so different, you know. But it took me at least 5 years to shake that Jakks, you know, I like the bigger bodies. I like the bigger, thicker figures. And, you know, the Mattels felt frail and fragile, and I was afraid I was going to break them, like setting them up and playing with them. And yeah, it was weird, but Jakks had a hold on me, man. I mean, I think it did for all of us.
And they really gave the blueprint to Mattel. It's almost like they served up the easy pitch to Mattel, because really Mattel took the deluxe aggression, just changed the scale, and just kind of went from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a good move on Mattel's part. I remember loving the deluxe aggression line. It was a nice transition into having a little bit more articulation. Didn't mind that they were giant by any means. But
everybody was shredded, huge muscles.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hurricane jacked. You know, it doesn't matter. But it was so hard of a transition going from those really big figures to it was almost the LJN the Hasbro feeling again. You know,
it's just so funny how whatever you have as a kid, that leaves the lasting impression with you forever. That's what you want. Like the same thing with all of us. Probably our fondest memories of wrestling is from when we were a little kid. Like I could go back and watch anything from the 80s, even if it's terrible. But wrestling from 15 years ago, it's like I've watched so much wrestling by now. I don't remember 15 years ago, but it's about Tito Santana fighting Greg Valentine, Madison Square Garden. I can tell you every detail about it.
It's amazing as a kid. I mean, you guys are probably the same as me as a little kid. It's like I could name every Intercontinental Champion in order. I mean, you could do that with all the title belts for the most part. And then the Attitude Era, they were mixing them around so much. It's like you lost that in your brain. But I remember as a kid, it would be a contest at recess. Okay, name every world champion. Start, from.
That's so true.
It's the good days.
And that's why, now for me getting the big rubber guys, it's like I never imagined 2024 I'd be getting LJN style figures that are actually really similar to LJNs, because so many other people have tried, but they've never really come as close as the big rubber guys have. So I'm all in on that set. That's one of my rules: collect every big rubber guy. I collect almost all the Ultimate Editions. I pick the elites out. I like heels and faces. I make rules.
Good friend Mike Canick loves that rule for you.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been on the show multiple times, and he knows I love them. I always give him ideas, and he's like, "Yes, we know, Tom. Shut up."
You got to get the smell back. That's all that matters.
Dude, when you open this Macho Man figure, the smell hits you in the face like none of the other big rubber guys have done before. It's like they added, brother. I think they added extra smell to this one.
That's awesome.
They did that, and I saw somebody else mention that when they opened their Macho Man big rubber guy. I'm like, yes, mine smelled amazing too. So Mike knows when I opened up the Jazwares LJNs, it's like first thing I did was sniff them. I was like, let's see how these smell. It's just weird, the things that it brings you nostalgia trip, man. It brings you back to being a little kid and opening up an LJN, getting that smell. It's just weird how smells can bring you back to a certain point in time.
Yeah,
for sure. So food usually gets that for you. You remember your grandma's or whatever, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I got an awesome question. Might be a little hard to pinpoint, but if you could take the whole entire Jakks Classic Superstars line and fit only 6 figures into one series, that's it coming, defining set, this is it, man. Who's gonna be your 6, baby?
Wow. I mean, if I could do anything, it'd have to be the First Warrior, because that was such a big deal. I'd have to say the LOD. That was such a big deal, getting that LOD in the first series of Toys R Us. There's 3 right there. The Bloody Terry Funk. I actually got that on the back cover. I absolutely love this figure. Truly the forerunner to the Blood and Guts line right now is this Terry Funk.
100%. So
that's 4. Oh, yeah.
There's a Terry Funk right there.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's the first Blood figure?
That was the first Jakks Bloody figure, yeah.
First Jakks Bloody figure, all right.
Crazy. I think those OSFTM, those Legends line were around that were a little bloody. I think around the same time.
I do remember seeing them in my local mall. They had them.
Not a fan of those.
Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe.
Yeah. And then the other ones, gosh, it's tough. The last 2 for me, I'm kind of thinking Demolition, just that first Demolition 2-pack was such a big deal too. And I loved LOD. I loved Demolition as a kid. So that was pretty big for me, but there's been a lot of good ones. There was a lot of really good figures throughout the years.
It would take me a year to pinpoint that list together.
Yeah, I'm sure I could change it.
So many cool things that came out with it though. Even those 3-packs Like I remember when I walked into a Spencer's and I seen the Terry Funk, Cactus Jack, and Sabu thing, and I was like kind of collecting, kind of not collecting, but I was like, Sabu's got a WWE figure. I was like, sign me up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I bought it instantly.
I remember I was just out of college and I was on a business trip, and I was staying in a hotel and there was Walmart by my hotel, and I went in there and I saw that for the first time. And people forget that the 2-packs and 3-packs for the Classic Superstars line, nobody knew they existed until they got out to the stores. Yeah. That was the thing. Like now for Mattel, they tell you even the Monday Night Wars or whatever the store exclusives, we know a year in advance that these are coming out. Back then, the regular line Jakks promoted them, but they didn't promote the 2-packs or the 3-packs because they didn't have to. They were store retailer exclusives. They said, hey, Walmart bought X amount. They're Walmart's. If they want to promote them, they can. It's off our plate. So you didn't know until the West Coast usually, historically, would get figures. It would go on the Wrestling Figs board or whatever that, there's a new Deluxe Classic set out. There's a new tag team set out. And that's how you found out. And a lot of times you're like, I don't believe that. Nobody believes it until you saw a picture. And then for me, I remembered the West Coast would announce it or somebody would find it on the West Coast. It was exactly 2 Fridays later, my Toys R Us would get it. It was like clockwork. I would go there right after school. Bam, there it was. It was crazy. Like clockwork.
That's awesome, man.
That is awesome.
I was like that with my KB Toys on the regular. It was probably like around Titantron Live, but I was there every week just calling them up like, hey, you guys got Rikishi yet? The guy's like, dude, stop calling here. Like, go to school, do something. Like, get a hobby. But I remember specifically hitting up many stores, just bothering them for hours, like during the day. Like, did you get your shipment in yet? Or did you guys get the Chaos in the Cell yet? Because I'm looking for that.
I was pretty lucky that my dad and I both collected. He collected starting lineups. I collected, nice. Marvel and everything else. But we had pretty much the same lady at our Toys R Us for many years, from when I was a little kid all the way till I was in college. And she knew that we were different than the scalpers and the people that were going there to flip and stuff. And she would always kind of, because especially when I was a kid, she knew that I was playing with these things. I mean, she knew. So she always kind of helped us out with things and said, hey, we got the truck coming tomorrow, and tell us those things. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's best, man. That giddy feeling. I miss those times going to like Toys R Us. My dad just figure hunting for the shit of it. Like, it was always the best.
Yeah, I mean, my dad comes on my channel every once in a blue moon. Not as much now. He's semi-retired now, but he used to be on my channel a lot. And we most of my life we were collecting, going. He would be like the dream. He'd wake you up on Saturday morning at 7:00. Kyle, we got 4 Kmart's, 10 Walmarts, 2 Targets, and we got a card show we got to hit today. I'd be like, all right, it's Saturday.
I love that, man.
I mean, it was like the dream, and I still try to do that to this day. It's always exciting figure hunting and doing all that kind of stuff.
It's so cool.
Is there any wrestling figure that has escaped you to this day that you haven't gotten yet, or perhaps the quality of figure you want to upgrade? Any?
Not really. I mean, my grail is the Warrior on card, so I guess that's one there. But I pretty much, it's a good feeling and a sad feeling at the same time. I'm really kind of got all my old stuff that I'd ever wanted for the most part done. So it's pretty much just new stuff here on out, which is fun too. But there's something fun about the hunt of something like that every once in a while. I'm sure there's something old out there I'm looking for that I'd pick up or upgrade, but I can't think of anything that jumps out.
That's crazy. It's cool.
Like last year, Elite 100 comes out. They released a suited Andre. I never knew I needed that figure as much as I needed it until I saw it. Have you experienced that in the last couple of years with all these different figures coming out?
Yeah, I mean, there's some times where you get really surprised. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of surprises anymore, like we said earlier, but every once in a while you're like, I think this figure's okay. I saw the renders. I saw Steve talk about it or whatever on WWE.com, but then you get it in your hand and you're like, holy cow, this is way better than I expected it to be. I love this thing. I mean, there's been a lot of those instances. I mean, I just actually had one the other day with a DC McFarlane Superman. Todd McFarlane's on my couch right now, just chilling, hanging out. But that was one that blew me away. There's been a few. I mean, there's a few every once in a while. Like the Three Faces of Foley was a real fun one. I mean, I knew that was going to be good going into it, but I really enjoyed opening that one. Yeah. There's always some of those that really blow you away. That really, I mean, there's actually what's been wild. And I don't know if you guys have been dabbling in any of the new basics that are coming out with the new articulation. And it really feels like Mattel has stepped up the basic game a little bit. They're still not quite elites. They're not trying to be, but there's been some of those basics basics that have really kind of shocked me as of late that are way better than they ever should be. So
I love there's always once in a great while one of those basics will pop out at you. Like for a while it was the girls, like every woman that they made, they were basically little elites, you know, they were great. They were fantastic. But I mean, the new articulation really sets them aside, less basic than the basics. So it gives me more incentive to want to buy them, especially for those one-off characters. I always will buy, like, you know, the random one-off NXT guy that comes out as a basic and won't get another figure. Like, you have to pick that.
Yeah, the top dollar of the world. I mean, you got to pick those up. I just got B-Fab last week, and
nice.
So I got a complete hit row. I got to put them in the corner of my shelf, the back corner.
Yeah.
I got them.
That's exactly how I'll do a basic if I need it. If it's somebody to fill in a collection, if it's like the females, they used to get more basics than elite, so it just made sense. The quality was fine. Suited figures are perfect for basics.
Yeah,
I'll pick up
100%.
You know, we talked about Bret Hart scans earlier, but Roddy Piper had faced similar things with his figures up until recently with that Coliseum collection. Was by far the best Piper figure they've ever made. You've just done the book. I'm sure you know all the Bret Hart figures. Is there a Bret Hart figure that actually looks like him? Is there one that's close to resembling him?
I think all the Jakks ones are really good, actually. I mean, especially for the time frame. I mean, they're all really, really good. I mean, obviously, I've seen people swap them onto Mattels. They're a little bit big to put on Mattels, but Jakks did a really good job, I thought. I mean, but, you know, Bret Hart has always struggled with head sculpts. You go back to his LJN. I mean, it's good, but it's not great. The Hasbro one is, I love that figure, that Hasbro, but it is a train wreck. I mean, he's got a huge, giant head. He's got the biggest head in the world there. So that was rough. And then, you know, Bone Crunchers are okay, I think, for what they were going for. And I think Jakks Classics did a really good job with Bret Hart. And then Mattel did an okay job. I don't think they were perfect, but they were better than they are now with the early basics, early elites. Now they're struggling. And, you know, I just unboxed the Coliseum collection yesterday on my channel. And, you know, they are rough. I think you look at it, you know who it is. And I think it's becoming a little bit of a joke saying, oh, it's Bret, you know, that's not Bret Hart, all that. It's piling on a little bit. But for me, all three head sculpts do look better in person. They're not perfect, but they do look better in person. And for me, in like the first head sculpt, it's like the hair on Bret looks a little weird. And that's what throws it off the most for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Grail piece continues as they hunt for the perfect Bret Hart figure. And I got to think the Mattel team hears about it all the time. So you got to think they're in the salt mines working, and Bill and all them are like, we're going to figure this out.
I was just going to say, after 40 years, we finally got a Piper figure that looks like a little mini Roddy Piper. So there's still got to be hope. Don DeVon Smith, you must have not seen the Coliseum Collection Piper, because, I mean, the Nader one looks good. I have it. I have a couple of those.
No, the NECA one?
Yeah. Well, no, the WWE movie version.
Oh, yeah. I thought that one came out really good.
That's
before
good
the
too, but the Coliseum collection, I feel like, just blows any other Piper figure away. And you have 3 heads, so if you want to go take a head off of the Hall of Fame figure and pop the head on there, like, you can update your old Piper figures with that one figure. It's just amazing.
I'm super excited for WCW Piper. I need that bearded, dirty, Rowdy.
I'm excited for that Piper as well. And again, I just found the Monday Night War Elite today. I can't wait to find a Bret Hart. I mean, I think you guys, did they have the Bret Hart on display last year when you were out there for Mania?
Yeah.
I thought that scan looks better. Yeah. It looks better in pictures, that scan. Like, that Bret Hart looks good in pictures, I thought, the Ultimate Edition. How did it look in person?
I thought it looked great.
It's been a while, but yeah, I thought it looked pretty good in person as well. I kind of thought, but you never know.
I wasn't expecting the head scan to be like stellar, like, whoa, that's Bret Hart, you know. So I think I went at the time looking at it, it looked great, you know. Like, it was. I mean,
it was the true telltale thing is if somebody pops just the head off and says, "Okay, I hand you this head. Who is it? Can you say who it is?" And I mean, as much as we all bag on Bret Hart, I think everybody would still say, "Well, that's Bret Hart," but it's just not perfect Bret Hart. So
100%.
But then again, you kind of look at Bret's face, and he doesn't have a very distinguished face either. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if it's the hair, if it's like, I think it's got to be a combination of his face, the hair, and the glasses, and that combination. And people think of different looks of Bret between those three, and it's like, confuses the mind.
It never hits somebody's expectations of what Bret Hart should look like, so it's never going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the wet hair too. I think the wet hair being in front of the face, like it doesn't need to be there.
It's like Hulk Hogan though. Hulk always has the mustache, always has the horseshoe hair. I mean, it's like it's always the same. Where Bret sometimes glasses on. What kind of glasses is he wearing? Is his hair slicked down? Is it more forward? I mean, it's just like that combination. Nobody can figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, not everything's easy, right?
Hey, listen, it gives us something to look forward to, right? Of them eventually getting a Bret Hart and wanting to.
Yeah. And we've had some atrocious figures.
Oh, is that the brand new
Coliseum? That looks fantastic.
Going on sale.
The new Coliseum.
That looks really good.
I mean, I think you see it, it's Bret Hart.
You see it, yeah.
Actually, it looks a lot like the LJN, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just to me the thing that's rougher on it is the hair. For some reason, it just feels like it's a little flat on top, but
he's got kind of a 1, 2, 3 kid vibe going on in that one.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to bag on it and stuff, and it's not perfect. I get that, but I still think somebody hands you this, who is this? It's Bret Hart, and that's at least half the battle.
And you got to remember, that's 1985, 1986 Bret Hart.
Yeah. Yep. And I was going to bring that up on my thing, and it spaced out on me. And then after I did my review, I said that I thought that because I was like, it's Bret Hart. I mean, Bret Hart really did change his look and his face as he got older, of course. But when the Hart Foundation first came in to when you think of him as a world champ, they don't look apples to apples. I mean, there's a little change over the years.
No, 100%.
That's exciting. So what is your favorite line that's out right now?
It's a tie between probably the elite line, just because of so many different figures we get and so many different things. So there's always something coming, but also outside of wrestling is G.I. Joe Classified. I'm a big G.I. Joe guy, and that's a huge line for me.
So you have all the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joes then?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't got all the original ones. I got one original one, but I don't got all the originals. That's cool. I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys that likes Sergeant Slaughter more for G.I. Joe than wrestling, which is wild.
Wow.
I'm here for it, man.
I was never really a G.I. Joe kid, so.
Yeah. I think I was at that age bracket just where G.I. Joe was super, super hot, and he came in to fight Serpentor, and that was a big deal when I was in first grade. So, and I knew him as a wrestler, and I thought it was so cool this wrestler was going into the G.I. Joe, and I still love G.I. Joe, but it was such a big part of my childhood. So it's weird. I like him in both, but I like him more in G.I. Joe.
You talk about perfect storms, because Sergeant Slaughter was a heel in WWF up until he feuded with the Iron Sheik. Imagine he never does that face turn. Like, does he ever get involved with G.I. Joe? What a career. Like, and I remember I told Mike this. I met Sergeant Slaughter when I was like 10 years old at our local mall. He was signing a book that Nick Bockwinkel wrote, and he was on the cover of it. And I have a picture of him holding me above his head, body slamming, like power slamming me, press slamming me. So I'm hoping that WrestleCon I might go blow up that picture and have him sign it. So
get him to recreate it.
Yeah. You never know, but it's going to be cool to go up to him and say, hey, this is us 40 years ago. So
that would be really cool. I think knowing Sarge, I've met him a couple of times. I think he would really think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to do that. I got to go meet the Sarge again, and I'm so looking forward to have WrestleMania in my backyard and to be able to do all these different things and seeing what's there for figures and being able to get exclusives. I'm never going to want to miss Mania weekend again after this weekend.
Just keep saving. Save up, man. It's an expensive fun run.
So I love to ask the people any tips to like newbie collectors getting started or debating on how to do a collection. What is the best advice you could give them?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to have their own rules and their own stuff, but I mean, some things to get you off to the races, I guess, is have a plan. Don't just kamikaze it. I see some people that just jump in and buy kind of everything, and then they get burned out. I mean, if you're a Ultimate Warrior guy, maybe you just go for Ultimate Warriors, or say, hey, it's my top 5, top 10 guys. I go for those. Or like me, I've been this way since I was a kid. I want to be a completist. I want everything, and it's a dangerous habit, but I've always kind of done that. So that, and then be careful. Know your cost. Study what you're collecting, because you got to know what the values are, at least in the house. I mean, you see people go in and, oh my gosh, I overpaid for this and this. You got to kind of know the market a little bit. And then as far as figure hunting go, I get that a lot. It's how you find everything. How do you know where to go? Well, I always say take your local Target, take your local Walmart, and find out the patterns. Every store has a pattern. And, my Walmart by my house, every Monday is toy day. So I know to go on there on Monday, they'll have, whatever's out. And every store has something pretty similar to that. So work your plan, stick to the plan, and go from there.
That's actually really good advice. I never even looked for, my Walmart's so random. They won't get anything for 3 months. And then all of a sudden you walk in today and they have Monday Night Wars and the brand new UnMatched set. And the UnMatched set was on clearance. Thank you, Walmart.
It rains.
Yeah.
However, Jericho and Eddie Kingston, that they have 20 of each, are still full price. So I can't even begin to understand that.
They're trying to recuperate their losses on that one.
Yeah, I guess so. Dude, this was so awesome. I can't thank you enough for stopping by, hanging out with us. Tell everybody where they could find you, where they could follow you, and most importantly, tell them where they could buy the book.
There you go. Yeah, Kyle Peterson on YouTube. I always say you can just search my name on YouTube. You'll find it. You'll see me, and then there's a guy that gets stung by bees and hornets and stuff. So there's two Kyles over there. But yeah, Kyle Peterson 1980, Kyle Peterson 2.0. I got 2 YouTube channels going, videos every single day, so you can find me over there. Of course, social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads and Instagram. And then, of course, the book. It is available at Amazon in the softcover edition. On sale currently. Amazon, thanks to Amazon, they're selling it for the cost to print it. So they're selling it at cost right now and still giving me, my $4 per book or whatever. So nice of them to do that. And then I guess you got the Chase exclusive version is the hardcover available at Barnes & Noble right now. Head over to Barnes & Noble. But it is thick as a textbook, that's for sure. So you think what you pay for a textbook.
Making me really want to go buy the hardcover edition. That thing is cool.
It's very nice.
Any other projects coming up that you're going to be working on? Any other books?
Man, I have a lot of irons in the fires for sure. I'm always hustling. I'm always doing something. At the end of the day, it's about passion. It's having a passion for action figures. So I definitely got some more ideas. I might even have another book written. You never know. I might already have another one done. You never know. But stuff like that. And then I also working on a really big project. Could be the biggest project ever. So been working on some of that. So more to come. Maybe a couple months. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned is what I'll say. A huge project.
Awesome. Well, that means we're going to have you back here either way because it was just fun hanging out and talking with you. We love talking figures and
anytime. I love talking action figures. So I'm always good if I'm around.
Awesome. Guys, once again, if you have not yet checked out theturnbuckletavern.com, please do so right away. Follow our friend Kyle. Make sure you buy the book. And again, if you're looking for a review for a figure you're not sure if you want, check out his YouTube channel because he's got the most in-depth reviews, the best reviews that you're going to find out there. So go bookmark his YouTube channel, turn on the notifications, and you won't miss a review.
I appreciate that. Couldn't say it better myself.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Until next week, for Mike, for Tom, for Kyle, it is the FigGuys out.
Reach for the sky, boy.